Sorry, baby. Peace and love, peace and love, peace and love, everybody. How the fuck are we feeling? We're on some sacred, ass ground right now, so I'm feeling good.
Where the peaceful people's coalition is. War is over.
So beautiful. I think right now is like the last passage of failure rituals that we'll go through in this experience of rekindling our awareness about what the parent-child relationship really is and what it does. And I've been really grappling for a final truth, what's the verdict type of feeling for so long about what it was for me and what I received and what I didn't receive, and et cetera, et cetera. And I just feel with this reading, what I wanted to take the time to put forward is that I am ready to let go of all the subconscious behaviors and habits that I witnessed and learned, but did not actually feel were going to be required for my way of being and my way of living. And ultimately, I've decided at this time that it's so much better to need nothing and want nothing and have a lifestyle that's sustained by not needing or requiring too much, so that whatever you do end up getting through any phase is abundant, but it's not something that you over attach to. Because I have to do something about the fact that I'm kind of always transforming. It's very simple. It's a march to victory, about temperance, about really stewarding this sort of conversation about internal balance and what will actually move the collective forward into a victory timeline and into a victory paradigm. And I feel again, as I said, really be looking for those who've made propositions about what the way forward would even be. I will always say I'm not the only person with a proposition for how we go forward. But I do believe that whatever we do decide on collectively needs to be something that talks about restructuring the family nucleus. And I just want to get this out because it's been at the top of my mind, as a human, because that's what you are first, besides all the roles and identities. as a human being, it is very important that you understand any role or identity that you take on is just that. It's something that you take on, but it isn't something that you are here to do, you know? And so I've been really reflecting on my relationship with my own parents and thinking about like really assessing the needs that a little Alexis like actually has. And the reality is like it would have been way better that my parents didn't make excuses for themselves. That because what you guys are creating is a bigger problem, and the bigger problem is that in the future your child represents all of the limitations for what you could and couldn't do. Well, I couldn't get more stable. I couldn't balance out my health. I couldn't become more. I couldn't be more. I couldn't also break generational curses. I had to raise you. And what that creates for a child is like, yeah, just feeling like I'm your ceiling. I'm your box. And then there comes the parents that are like, no, we're going to super claim ourselves. But they can't even do the radical thing, which is be like, this partnership wasn't something that God needed me to do. And I need to normalize that rhetoric because that's like 99% of partnerships right now. Because no one slows down. People are too busy eating cows. They don't even know what it's like to like let cycles move you. Like you don't like sitting in a field of grass. What comes next is gonna come. I'll move my big ass up or something's gonna happen. You know? But I always want to connect, like I'm really active and on top of myself, and right now I don't want to connect my failures to the things that I loop on subconsciously. Like I know that it can be a really easy self-punishment thing to be like, yep, all those bad subconscious habits that I do that just kind of like subconsciously destroy me are what I deserve because of this like failure or this like failed expectation. Because the reality is everything should be revelatory at this time. Everything should be showing you exactly what's about to come without spoiling it for you. Like for a lot of people, like you're thinking way too small and the universe is ready to give you something way bigger, and that's why it's cleared out this much space, because you're just about to receive the much bigger, the true dream, the true thing that you want. Again, you have a Knight of Cups ready to like send the message forward. It's like, oh no, we've got the whole thing ready for you now, and it actually is in alignment with the Six of Rods, the personal collective victory, and being a lot more balanced. You know, no matter what. Like again, I want to really reiterate that it's really normal to like. It's really important to understand that success is not attached to a material outcome. Like the feeling of being a successful person is not because of the obtaining of something, and that's something that capitalism deeply ingrains in anyone who participates in the system. Which is like, you'll be a successful capitalist when we see evidence of X, Y, and Z. And there are plenty of capitalists that have done a lot of like really successful things and they don't even consider them successes. That's the saddest part about looking at some of y'all's lives, is like some of y'all's best work, some of your best contributions, you glazed right over like they were nothing and went on to like making sure you feel like a failure. You know? But this is a real point of individuation. This is really a point in my life where we can do this together over the next 6 months of Pluto retrograding, where the power can come back to us. You know, I can name all my shortcomings, you know, like there are so many things that when I think about, like a lot of times when little Alexis approaches being an independent woman, she still is performing Wanda and what she saw my mom do. And my mom would just like utilize her socioeconomic circumstance as an excuse to enable her really poor behaviors. So like she would just be not disciplined with her diet, or not disciplined with like, well, it doesn't really matter. Oh, I only have 5 minutes to eat, so it's my right to just let it be like the shit. And the real root of that is like, you just want to make the shitty choice. You just are going to keep rearranging your life to make the shitty choice. And I don't want to be shackled and imprisoned to that. And I have to stand up and be the voice of dissent, because I can feel it in my own pathology. I feel the fork in the road right now too, where I can just wither away to nothing, you know, at 29. All the same, every day I have to wake up and fight for it. Every day I have to choose the choice that's gonna, you know, because it always ebbs and flows. It always feels like sometimes I'm on top, sometimes I'm on the bottom. but being balanced and knowing how to stay balanced has to be like my path to truth, and I have to remain aspirational in my embodiment. Like the things that I embody have to always come across as aspirational if I actually want to remain as living in my purpose, which is like motivating people to nourish themselves and others. So the best thing that you can do as a parent is doesn't matter what point childbirth comes on your path, the fastest and soonest that you can get back to, because you're going to think of it as back to my life before my kid, but that's actually exactly what makes the most sense. And you got to start back into that life before the kid to know, to start something honest at all, so that this isn't a sacrifice any further, because your kid will be way more ascended than I will when they're 18 giving you the smoke and going no contact. You know what I'm saying? Because they're going to be like, well, everything comes down to me. I got to take myself to third grade. Like, once you drop me off in the classroom, like, I got to keep myself from a school shooter. You know, like, these kids are going to know that. That's the reality that you're birthing them into, which they're also going to be like, why? Why now?
Yeah,
why are you making elementary school as hard for me as possible? Because they're going to feel a deep sense of, like, it's not, like, you have to understand some of these generations of kids are not going to feel like their creator really deeply needs them for anything. It's what happened with a lot of Gen Z kids. A lot of them, it's like they don't have, because they're so mismatched in their DNA and so not ordained by, like, a higher, like, whatever. Like, a lot of people don't really feel, it's not even that people are just generally cosplaying dumb. They, like, genuinely don't have any codes. So they don't, there's nothing they feel the need to do or contribute, or maybe even being karmic is a big contribution to them, because that's still more purpose than they were gonna fucking go on to live out, you know? But again, let's not do the build a bitch thing, you know? Whoa. Three of Pentacles, Ten of Swords, the Chariot. I think this is the conversation of, like, very much like what I just said, like, one option glaringly closes, so it really shows you, because you're correct about your assessment of the thing, Four of Swords. Like, you're correct about what phase you're at. Like, if you know you're meant to be receiving back from the universe, X, Y, Z, you're right about that. I think right now just shows you, like, the partnership, this Three of Pentacles reverse, Ten of Swords reverse, the Chariot reverse. A door, right now, astrologically, it was always going to be that a door slams shut. There's a certain option that is not the option for you. And it is as closed, I can't get more, like, closed, no, than this. Three of Pentacles reverse means, like, this contract can't happen anymore. Ten of Swords means, like, you knifed me so bad it can't, it's not a wound I would care to, like, repair and then, like, continue on with. And the portal, it's like the portal's also closed. It's like the, whatever timeline was there, it's not. I think that's what I'm saying. There is a trajectory of healing. The collective is, like, choosing the healing of it all. The healing route, you know? Because I was just going to say, it's like we're literally sitting, this is like, so the history of where we are right now, 200 young men were once used to come right here in this little circle. And they used to do, like, union work in terms of, like, building out protections for the natural nature preserve, like, historic marker that we're at. So there's just used to be, like, a bunch of brothers hanging around here once upon a time. But it's also a battlefield, you know? And I feel like that's the vibe. It's like, I think it's going to be very clear to the people who, like, live in the frequency where love for them is, like, a battlefield. Because you bring that frequency around. I think people are getting really clear on that. It's like, whoa, where did that frequency come from? Where did that feeling of, like, because that's already what we're saying. It's like no one's saying anything about your choice of who you love, but if you come around and it's like all of a sudden it like you can't coexist, like you can't. There's always dynamics. It's just saying so much. It means you're causing dynamics.
Yeah.
Because you're just here and you're just with who you're with. But again, there's all this motion happening, you know, from you that the divine wants you to just go ahead and like heal up about. Because I feel like if you tried it one more time, something that so obviously is not, it's not a partnership, it's tense, it's the Chariot. I think that's kind of, there's like a very obviously blatant message about that vibe.
Yeah.
There's a very obviously blatant like display of like what I want to say about like what the true nature of what something is. Like I feel like this is like an episode of like something being like, this ain't what it ain't. You know, and I feel like that's what God wanted me to come to this battlefield to really sit with. Is that I'm not the only one, regardless of my narcissistic lineage, who actually knows that this ain't that.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? Because a lot of times I feel like me and you, like we're in our world, like what the fuck is up with people? Like, what's the fucking vibe? Like, are guys like for real trying to act like that's like some shit for real? And we're always like perplexed. The whole time most people are like, no, we know. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like this is very much somebody being like, because it's not, it's something that leaves someone 3 of Pentacles reverse. It's just very blatantly being like, this is a contractual, I gotta pay up, 10 of Swords. It's almost like one of those things, it's like, it's the right thing to do. Like, it's like if you get in a car accident or some shit, it's like, this is the right thing to do would be to process the insurance. You know what I mean? Or some shit. But I feel like when you have time to like really settle into your own victory and you really have time to settle into how balanced you actually like are, you realize that it's 9 of Cups. And I feel like it's this 9 of Cups that's already like and that's what I'm saying, most of this journey is internal right now. Because it's just about making sure you trust, you know? I feel like the people like ourselves that are like coming into balance right now, it would really be about like knowing that yeah, like certain things are for us. You know what I'm saying? Like this is just like quintessential, like everyone should be, this is one of those moments where we can meet this outcome because everyone was healing. If everyone really is going to God for their healing, then God will get you to all see the situation the same way. Because it looks like the type of situation that can be viewed a lot of ways or can mean the next step is a lot of things. I feel like in your situation, this sort of announcement energy, it just would give that. The feeling of this 3 of Pentacles reverse, 10 of Swords reverse, Chariot reverse is like, this is obviously some shit that wasn't an open door, but here we are. It's like sober and dry. It's definitely some shit that's like, I'm gonna give it to you straight, that's the reality. It's some shit that's like, if you can accept this, victory is imminent. I think this is like the type of situation where it's like, this is the worst of it though. I think I'm in a really beautiful place, even when I was thinking just like about my relationship to Alpharetta, where it's like, even a rejection from here doesn't make me feel like sad about anything. Because there's that much about, I'm in alignment
like
here. There's so much here for me that it can really be anything.
I think that's also just a good step in like terms of like,
we don't even have to push forward. Like no, we're on the right step. Like we got 2 of the right gigs. We can build from there. Let you get a little cash flow, and moving in tandem with the fact that anything can like really happen. I feel like we're still very much blessed in terms, and that's just us speaking to like what grid we're really going to be coming from. That's what I'm saying. There's just so much here, and I feel like that's what you'd be feeling. It's like you can kind of accept that this is like the truth. This is like you It's one of those days where you genuinely wake up and it's like you're greeted with the worst of it.
Right.
But then it's like, yeah, but inevitably this love is so victorious, so balanced, so like replenishing, that why would it ever stop the truth from being communicated? That's the outcome. And so sometimes you do just have to like go through that extremity, one time where you feel like, oh shit, the worst just happened. It's like it's not the Three of Pentacles. This is where you actually overcome the fact that like we died. This is the rapport. This is a connection that has a history of being like Three of Pentacles reversed, so that was denied. Three of Swords reversed, like there's also been like fucking stabbing that's happened. And there's also just been like portals missed. Like we didn't suspend, yeah, like really and truly type of shit. Some stuff that would have required like healing type of frequency. And it looks like one person's sort of, the masculine frequency is kind of tasked with like making sure they have enough there, because it's like having really big emotions but then needing to be able to convey all of them, because this type of rapport would trigger you, because if you don't usually carry a lot, if you've always been shallow, if you've always been guarded out of ego so nothing is deep, this type of connection is gonna like fucking really trigger the fuck out of you, because it's just gonna make you feel too much and you're probably just gonna shut off, like dead ass, like you're just not gonna do anything. So your challenge was 9 cups. You've got to be able to like open up enough space, open the pit up a bit, so that you can let yourself in a regular capacity hold this much fulfillment. Because it's like it's throat chakra. It's like you've got to be able to let your love be something that you can say. That's why I think there was like a spell over the fact that it's like this could have all been prevented because of words that were communication, right? But it's like you can't communicate this big of a feeling, and that's what that end has to work on. This is all exponential, and then somebody else, it's like that finally having victory. I feel like it's like, you just haven't felt like successful, like you've successfully done magic, and it's directly tied to the feminine's ability to stay balanced, so you do have to balance some shit out, because you have to go, like it's like the feminine would have to figure out you have to go figure out the man's world either way. Not capitalism, but what did the man go do? Like, the man converted his time energy into the money that like paid for the house, and the kids that you know what I'm saying? So the thing that the feminine would be very ignorant to is like, what did you go do? What do you go do when you go, like when I think about my in-laws, like what is my mother-in-law, like she really has no idea, like what is an architect day to day even been looking like the last 30 plus years, so the feminine would have to grow in that, being able to do their own magic trick and be successful at it, while also mastering their internal waters, which is why before what was crossing it is getting over the fact that like the thing that would come, basically God did this because it's like, if you were healed, this would be exponentially better. So I'm gonna fucking crash it out, which is gonna cause y'all to go heal, because it's gonna be so sucky that you couldn't do it. The whole plan, this would have been amazing. This would have been transcendent, but it's not. It didn't. But it was so that you could go get and become sturdy enough to be the person that can do it. Because when you go through it, you're not going to want to get a fraction of the emotional capacity that you should be getting from it. You're not going to want to not feel like you could successfully even do what the contract, it's like a divine contract, like it's a soul contract, right? You're not even going to feel like you can't do it, like on your own. Like someone has to make sure that they feel successful enough in their own skill to know like they belong. Because I feel like that's a big thing, Like I said, the feminine needs to feel like, no, like I've done my magic enough to know that it is real and that it does have this effect. And so I can expect that if I go out and did it, if I had to go do the man, like if I had to go find a way to make money for my kid now on my own, I can go do it. But again, that's what's coming up right now, because a lot of things that are also just ending right now are because you had to be there for the new world in order to like be in it and enter. This is where you'd have to be. If you're a feminine, you have to be able to go out on your own, and that your masculine has to be something you can rely on within just as much as your feminine energy. So a lot of feminines right now are fucked because they're going to be outed as like basically gold digging leeches. Because that's cool, right? Where no one is saying and wishing for you that you don't have a partner who can provide. That's amazing. Are you a partner who can provide? Question mark. Right? So feminines, that's where you're at. If not, your fate is this. Stop right there. Masculines, you're supposed to be like masculines. I really hate to break it to you. It is so painstakingly obvious, and this might even just be your secret. This might even be like just like your passive aggressive way of saying your truth. But everyone knows the masculine is capable. Like the masculine is all on the table. When you're passionate, it's kind of like if he wanted to, he would. Okay, this is really heavy in your emotional communication. You guys talk a lot about a lot of shit that you give a shit about. So another way that a masculine can be very much like saying they don't give a shit is like if they don't have a lot of emotion to communicate about it. And you know we're on God's benevolent planet where there's so much to give a fuck about and talk deeply about. I just want to say you're also this is your fate as well. That would be you self-destructing the thing yourself. Because you know that. Because I feel like there's this pressure. You know what I'm saying? It can be easily projected. If the feminine is not confident that she can do it on her own, she's going to project that energy onto the masculine, whom then is going to feel like she's trying to control how I express my love for you. So then what is the masculine going to do? Petty laboots. Masculine's going to be like, it's going to be like milk dud baby communication. Because the masculine is basically saying, if you were my divine feminine, my natural body would be communicating 9 cups worth of emotional communication. Do you understand what I mean by that, guys? That's like so dead ass. It's like the guy who's like, you're just so gorgeous and amazing and my life is on fire and who you are is like, da-da-da-da. Like, you could say that on an afternoon. You don't even have to have a reason. You could just be like saying that. Right? If that's really how you felt. So a big test right now, look at the masculine frequencies out in the world, and if you're not able to communicate naturally at an emotional level, like this thing brings me da 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 da, this is what's crossing you now. It's time for that all to end, because it means it's well over. You've already healed past what that dynamic